Hi, this is video 2 of Module 3. My name's Helen Chakouti and I'm a Senior Associate at Pearson's Lawyers. If this is the first video you've seen, then I highly recommend you go back to Module 1. Module 1 contains 2 checklists of important actions that you need to take right now before proceeding further. To get there, please visit Pearson's YouTube channel or Pearson's website and follow the links. Otherwise, if you are ready, let's begin. The obvious question in divorce and children's matters is, what arrangements do we come to in respect to our children? In terms of the decision-making powers about your children, this will depend on who generally makes the decision, and there is a presumption that decision-making will be shared. This is often called shared parental responsibility and means that both parents generally share decision-making in respect to a child. However, where this is not practical or there are issues of risk, this may not be possible, and therefore the court will make, or an agreement can actually assign, sole parental responsibility to one party. In other situations, there may be grandparents or other parties concerned with the care, welfare or development of a child who require that decision-making power. And in those situations, orders or written agreements can also be made, providing sole parental responsibility for those parties or other parties to share in that responsibility. In terms of who a child lives with and spends time with, they're the new terms that we are now applying as opposed to custody of a child. Who a child will live with or spend time with will depend on the interests of the child and the composition of your family. In looking at what's in the best interest of the child, the court will consider and balance the need for a child to have a meaningful relationship with both parents, also against the need of any risk factors or violence issues that may be occurring within the home. In addition, the court will look at factors such as the age of the child, wishes expressed by the child, any other siblings of the child and any other family relationships that this child may have, the cultural background of the child, such as if they're an Aboriginal child or a Torres Strait Islander child, and other factors about the day-to-day welfare of that child. And in doing so, the court will then look at what arrangements best suit the child. In terms of views expressed by a child, I'm often asked the question as to whether a child can give evidence in a family court situation, and the child does not give evidence, does not go into a courtroom, but rather their voice is heard through other mechanisms, such as a family report could be prepared, which is a psychologist of the court, prepares a report with the parties, the child, and writes some recommendations for the court to consider. In other situations, an independent children's lawyer, who is a lawyer for the children, may be appointed to gather evidence surrounding the child's life, whether it be school reports or other reports necessary, and to provide a neutral perspective on behalf of the child, away from that of the parties. So again, who gets custody of a child will really depend on the facts of your case, and also whether you require to actually litigate matters a court order, or whether you require a parenting agreement, a registered parenting agreement, or a verbal agreement. If you're having a verbal agreement, then you don't necessarily have to have any of these other issues written down. But if it's a written agreement, obviously these matters will need to be addressed. So in a nutshell, who gets custody of the children is not a straight answer. It will depend on the composition of your family, the facts of your case, and what is in the best interest of your child. That's it for this video. If you feel that you're ready, you can now move on to video 3 of Module 3.
All our videos in this YouTube series can be found through the Pearson's YouTube channel or by visiting the Pearson's website and following the links. Alternatively, if you know that it's simply time to see a family lawyer, please contact us for a free initial consultation. Please be advised that we must complete a conflict check so that we can only represent one party in a family law matter. So if your partner is watching this same YouTube series and engages our services before you do, we advise that we may not be able to talk to you. Whatever it is that you choose, it's our wish that throughout this YouTube series, you can finally gain a sense of certainty so that you know where you stand.